I think the things that sum up Englishness, I mean, talking of the weather, I think drinking, war, we love a ruck.
Yeah.
We're built on war. We're a warrior race.
We're pretty good at war.
We are good.
We used to be good. I don't know.
Yeah, no, we're very good. We're good. We're very good. I mean, I think we reached our peak with Churchill.
That's probably our greatest hour, our finest hour.
According to him.
Yeah. Well, he should know he was there.
He should know. And he liked to drink, didn't he? He loved a brandy.
He's not afraid of a drink.
He'd get pissed up, and no wonder he'd fight him on the beaches. He'd fight him anywhere.
Yeah.
See, there's an example of a posh bloke. It was like I was saying, he'd lead you into battle. He'll have a weapon too. He'd go in there. He didn't sit back. I mean, when he was old, he did. But nothing wrong with being posh if you're willing to go and, get stuck in. What do you think, Carl?
Is it as scary though? I mean, imagine if he was rougher sounding, and he was on the front line. And,
like he went, you fucking little cunt. I'll fight you on the beach. Look, see me down in Brighton Monday. I'm gonna fucking smack your head in, you little fucking German cunt. Like that, you mean?
Yeah.
It's less of a morale boost.
Well, that's the other point of one, isn't it? That those speeches were for as much as morale as information and defiance.
You don't want to feel like the leader of your country could glass you if you got on the wrong side.
No, exactly. It's got to be rules under war, hasn't it? I mean, that fair play has got to come into it as well. Talking of the English sense of fair play and war, when the crossbow was invented, a lot of people wouldn't use it. They said it was unchristian. So our soldiers sort of resisted it. So Europeans got this thing that needed no skill, and it was shooting these bolts, and they could reload quick, and versus our bowmen. What do you think of that? What do you think of going, oh, it's cheating, we won't use it, but having a disadvantage? That's honour, isn't it? It's almost like it's okay to kill someone, but with skill.
But what's the problem here? What am I meant to be worrying about?
Well, you've got bow and arrows. Yeah. They're amazing. They're heavy. They're your arms. They've got trained bowmen. They're skilled. The most skilled sort of marksman soldiers in the country. Someone comes along and goes, don't worry about that. Here's a crossbow. Just pop it in, put it back. Deadly. Deadly, quick. Anyone can use it. So now you've got anyone with a crossbow killing people.
Women, children.
Anyone can use it. So the Europeans, they're going crazy. Oh, William Tell he's shooting apples off heads.
Yeah.
Right? But we resisted it because we thought it was, unchristian and cheating to kill without skill. What do you think of that?
But where were the actual bows and that being made? Because that's the thing, isn't it? The company who's making them, they just want to get out to a big market.
Brilliant.
That's what they do now with the iPod and everything. It's not about people wanting more music than ever before. That's not the case. It's about having the accessory. And if the bow and arrow was sold as this, light to carry for all the family, that's how it would have happened. That's what it's all about.
Ye new bow and arrow from Ronco.
But what do you think the problem is?
But you're not quite getting Ricky's point. His point is the idea of there being sort of rules and fair play and etiquette in war. The objective is to kill the enemy.
I don't think war and that is a place to start getting all uppity about someone cheating or having a better system.
Really? You think all fair in love and war, do you?
Yeah, definitely.
Right. But
it's just about
rules,
winning.
Isn't it?
No, not in a war. There isn't rules.
So what about things like the Geneva Convention? It's the understanding that even if we're entering into a war, theoretically, there's a set of agreed universal rules.
It's good for both sides, isn't it? Fair play has got to come into everything.
What's extraordinary about the idea of English fair play is, famously the approach during the First World War, that we would sort of walk up out of the trenches onto no man's land and sort of politely march at a slow, steady pace across towards the enemy. I mean, and then we were just being machine gunned down. I mean, it was absurd.
Well, I know we were fodder. It was fodder to use up some of their bullets. I mean, it was crazy.
I mean, it's madness. But in a way, it's the gentry who are leading us, seeing the average Tommy as a sort of cannon fodder.
Of course. And you've got to realise that most of the people didn't want to be there. Most of them didn't even understand it. I mean, and if you think of the first and second, they were just wars, But I can't imagine what it'd be like.
Do you think, Carl, in a war situation? You've seen all those films of the.
I mean, that's the one they had a knockabout and stuff, didn't they? They took the game of football.
In no man's land, yeah. Christmas Day.
But who took a football there? If I was on the front line, I would not be getting out the rule book. I can tell you that much. I'd be going mental.
Are you saying there should be some rules or no rules?
I mean, you've got to have some rules, otherwise it's just going to be like Grand Theft Auto, isn't it? I'm just going to go about battering everyone.
Yeah.
And you soon get bored of that.
Mm.
So I think you've got to have some rules.
Right.
Which rules would you repeal that already exist that you don't like?
It's a shame you can't tip as much as you used to be able to.
You mean in a restaurant?
No, just when you're getting rid of a mattress or something. Well, today we're featuring stuff on World War One and Two, right?
Oh.
So that's that little title for all this little thing is, what do you think of that then?
What do you think of that then?
Play a record. Go on, Carl. What's next? Are you going to do your war feature? War. What is it called?
What do you think of that then?
You do that now?
It annoys me a bit, right? Because we said before Christmas that we'd come back with new stuff.
Yeah.
Gave you a title to work on, that Ridiculous.
Right.
You came in today, I said, have you sorted it out? You say no. Steve, you're having a go at me for wanting to get music out of the library for you.
Yeah.
You haven't got any new ideas.
Sure.
But you're dissing mine.
I'm not dissing yours.
Well,
I'm a massive fan of them.
Good vibe off you.
Oh, I think that's very harsh. I just asked you when were we going to have war. Do you think of that? I'm a big fan. I'm excited.
Well, it's not that good, to be honest with you.
Well, I disagree. It sounds brilliant.
Right, well, it's a bit of a tweak of Educating Ricky.
Right.
Just some information on wars.
Yeah.
Okay.
World War Two.
World War Two. All right.
The world champion chess player. He helped someone out in the war.
It's the detail I like.
No, he
You know, it's nearly a history programme, isn't it?
I was watching those repeats of The World at War.
Yeah.
That were on in the mornings. You know, incredibly
Did
detailed,
you
but
lot-
they got nothing on Carl.
Did you write a lot of that David Sharma series?
He was able to use his skills that he has to play chess, because apparently chess is all about probabilities of like where a piece will be put.
Right.
Mm.
And they got him in, and they said, "Can you help us out?" He said, "Yeah." And he said, "Right, where should we like?"
Hitler has just moved his queen.
So that's a fact.
He sent in a bishop that ran diagonally through the troops, knocking them over.
Sorry, wait a minute, Carl. So they got a chess
Sorry,
player.
that's it.
Well, yeah. It's just like, oh, what do you think of that?
Again, that's not a story.
But it angers me that he says that I'm down on the ideas when that... I mean, that's beginning to shape up as quite interesting. I thought you were going to tell me which battle or which event
World War
was
II.
you...
World War Two.
It's not a battle.
But which bit of your World War Two?
Like the middle bit.
It's 6 years worth.
Yeah, well, probably about a bit in.
Guessing.
I thought, let's...
Guessing.
Well, alright, yeah, there is a bit of guesswork, but it doesn't matter.
But that could have been an interesting thing if you told me it had an impact
Well,
on the
when you
Normandy
look at
landings.
these things, do you go, bloke wants out chest, oh, use that, and run away from the computer?
No,
or
I
run
read
out of
it.
the bookshop?
I read the first line where I get enough information, I just think...
What do you mean you read the first line where you get enough information? Imagine if you were someone's defence lawyer,
Exactly.
and he was like, he's on death row, and
Yeah.
went, I don't think he did it.
Yeah.
I read the first line, I didn't read the file
It's
He
completely.
was in a hotel in Texas. Right, go on.
It's enough.
Oh, some other
It's
stuff.
enough,
He
it's
definitely
enough,
didn't kill it.
it's enough, it's enough.
And
Yeah,
I
that's
just thought
interesting.
they always take ages on deciding where to go. It's just like, bet there's a better
I
way.
don't know what he's saying now, I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, it takes-
Actually don't know what you're talking
When
about.
people play chess, they take ages to make the move. So I'm just thinking, there's probably a quicker way.
Of what?
Than finding where a boat is, than getting a chess player in.
I don't know what you mean now.
Alright,
Are you talking
well,
about
I'll tell you what,
battleships now?
They should have got an expert battleships player in.
Right?
yeah. What, Carl?
Right,
What,
forget that one.
Or
then.
someone who's
no,
really good
I'm not being funny. But what is that? What are you telling me there?
Someone who's really good at risk. They should have brought them in.
Yeah, Cluedo.
Right,
yeah.
Another fact.
Oh, that's enough then, is it?
Well, they use expert Cluedo players, but the police use
Oh,
expert
they
Cluedo
do.
players.
Yeah.
If ever there's a murder in a country house,
Do you think they use that old Chinese fella on the front of Mastermind?
Mastermind, yeah.
Yeah, for logic problems. The Enigma code was broken by top Mastermind players.
Exactly, yeah.
Right, second
And a guy
fact.
who's had a couple of rounds of Yahtzee and done very well.
Second fact about the war.
For engineering, they use a lot of Jenga. players.
Absolutely,
to
whenever
do it.
they want
Will
to-
the building collapse? I don't know. Let's pull this. Let's see.
If
Yes,
they
it
wanted
will.
to identify...
What are you doing?
If they wanted to identify spies,
Yeah.
bring me the champion of Guess Who.
Was it a woman with glasses? No. Right, sit
Has he got
down.
a beard? Is it Bernard?
Right, Carl. Sorry.
Right,
Go on.
Another war fact. So
Go
you're
on.
saying it's rubbish, but look, you love that.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Second
you're
one,
absolutely right.
the first bomb that was dropped on Berlin,
Yeah.
it didn't kill a person, but it killed an elephant.
I think that's true.
That is true.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the last one.
Is that all you know about that? See, that's interesting, isn't it?
But
was
that's
the-
enough.
But no, it's not
not
though. Because
enough.
no, because I mean, listen. Most people want to go. Oh, what was the elephant doing there? Did
Well,
it
it's
land in a
either-
zoo? Was it a pet?
Oh.
Was it a lost elephant? Did they aim at the elephant? How did it kill it? Did
Was
it
it
hit it on the
Hitler's
head?
favourite elephant?
yeah, was it Hitler's favourite elephant? Did it then have one ball?
Yeah.
I mean, these are the things. You know, why didn't he catch it with his trunk?
Did it have an effect on German morale?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that
Yes.
elephant is kaput.
Oh, Jumbo! I don't want to fight anymore.
Carl's getting a little bit stressed, aren't you?
No, I just, you know, got to keep focused, got to keep the show good and that.
Yeah.
You know, and in the
Yeah.
new year, the idea was come up with some good, snappy stuff.
Yeah.
And today, I just think it's been a mess with you, to be honest. I mean, this is the sort of thing I'd prefer to do after the show as the producer.
Yeah.
But you know,
Do you know what? I think it's a discipline problem.
Is
I'm
it?
not
Is it
sure
because
Ricky's got any.
I just put sellotape on your head?
well, that's a bit to do with it. But just you know, let's just focus.
But
on
I didn't put it when there was any hair on your eyebrows. I put it across your forehead.
Right. What do you think of that then?
Yeah.
We've got one more bit left.
Brilliant.
One more fact. The French, right, when they were at war,
David Sharma, I just imagine him just introducing it. Amazing.
Which war was this?
it was still the World War.
One
World
or two.
War, World War
Go
Two.
on. It's 50-50. Go on. yeah. yeah.
Right, World War Two. What the French did. Everyone needs a code.
Everyone needs a code. Yep.
A code when you're in the army.
This is
and
a Disney song.
that, right? And you know, to sort of give the go ahead if you want to go into battle and stuff.
Okay.
Right. So,
Needs a code.
but the weird thing
Game
is,
show.
right? The weird thing
Everyone.
is, do you know what theirs was?
Go on. Do you?
Yeah, I know what it is. And it's
So
a
what
bit
was
weird.
the French code?
For what?
To sort of say, right, yeah, go on
But they had more than one.
on this day.
But I don't know what day it is.
On
All
this day.
And what, it's like saying, what am I thinking of? What was the battle? What was the...
Okay, so alright, what...
Look at him, look, he's genuinely confused that I've asked this question. Right.
It was
No! If you ask me a question, ask me the question correctly. What was the code for battle during what battle?
World War Two.
No, that's not a battle. That's a war.
Yeah, it was in a war. Yeah.
I don't know what to do. He
Right.
confuses people.
Alright, okay, what was it, Carl? What was the
Yeah,
code?
what
was
are
the
you
French
thinking
code?
of? Right.
John's got a moustache.
What are you talking
My
about?
lungs are gonna burst.
That was a code that the French used. You know, like I mean, I just think it's a bit daft, right? Because you could come up with that by mistake.
yeah. Two French blokes talking in the trenches, and they see a major walk past, and they go, "Oh look, John's got a moustache," and they all go and go, "No, I was just talking. What are you talking about?"
Well, the way I don't think that's a good code. I'm not.
I
you
don't
know-
believe it is the code.
No, it is seriously.
And what?
And
It's
would
just
it,
that
would it
no
have
one
been
talks
would it have
about
been
it.
said in French?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But the weird,
Guessing. Yeah.
No, but
What?
you see, I can't even be bothered
What are you saying, Carl?
because it's not a very good code. Do you know, like we've talked in the past about things you don't see, and I said an old man eating a Twix.
Yeah.
If they use that's safe because no one is ever going to see a man having an old man having a Twix.
What do you mean?
Well, use that as a code. Don't use a saying, John's got a moustache, that could crop up. And it's like the war's kicked off. How'd that happen? Well, I said John had a moustache. Oh,
Two French blokes would never be saying John's got a moustache. Why would
wouldn't
they?
Because back then they were fashionable.
He nearly makes sense, doesn't he?
I assume it would have been Jean.
Yeah. No, probably John.
And how would this code have been? I mean, who would have announced this
just
to
read
everyone?
it. I read it like that, Steve. That's what was on the internet. This is a code that was used. John's got
But
a
don't be
moustache.
angry with me.
I know, but you're always asking questions.
But that's because I'm interested in history.
Yeah. No, you're genuinely interested in bloke, Carl. We'd like to know. I'd like to film you secretly. You know, like they do, like Nature Watch, when they put it in a, like a, you know what I mean, badgers sort of thing,
Warren,
right?
yeah.
And they just watch it. I'd like to see what you do, pop around going, I wish I could download the music in your head. Because it'd be, wah, 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 and you see something weird, you go, wah, 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 wah. And then you read that and you go, wah, and you write it down, and that's what comes out. John's got a moustache.
I'd like to see next Christmas.
Imagine the French, right, for their battle cry, for their battle code to know it's going ahead, they're going over the top, is you never see an old bloke eating a Twix. Imagine that.
Yeah, but all these things are things that I think in my head. Right?
Keep them in there.
Do you know, like before?
Well, I think I'd just better ask Carl a couple of quick questions about Hitler. Then we can, you know, get on with our lives.
Okay, we can tick that particular box.
Yeah, put that. Yeah. Okay, Carl.
Put that particular dictator to bed.
It's week 3 of his education. You've nailed Rasputin and Che Guevara. I don't want to lose complete sight of those. I'll maybe ask you a couple of those in the week just to see, keep your mind on it. But Hitler.
Tell us the story.
What have you learnt?
Do you want to ask some questions?
No, not really. Just sum it up in a minute. What do you
Can't do
think?
it in a minute.
Well, can I ask some questions then? Where was he born?
Austria.
Tell us about his early life.
Right, he was a young lad.
Brilliant.
What in his early life? Okay.
Yeah.
What's the name? His mum was his dad's second cousin, which is a bit weird.
Yeah.
That is weird.
They had 5 kids.
He's going, yeah, it's usually first cousin where I come from. Oh, that's unfair, isn't it? There's no need for that.
There was 5 kids, but only 2 of them, including Hitler, including him and his sister survived. The others died at an early age.
Okay.
Right. Anyway, so they grew up, and the mum died and the dad died and that, and he thought, oh, what am I going to do? Because he didn't do well at school, didn't have many qualifications.
No.
Liked art.
Did he have a GCSE in history?
Liked art, right? And then, so he said, right, I'm going to go to Munich. I missed a bit out, actually. Jewish people were in Austria, he didn't really like them.
Okay.
He thought they got, you know, special treatments and stuff, and just didn't like them. So he went to Munich, and he joined the army.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And he was in the army, and he got injured.
Right.
So he went to hospital, and whilst he was in hospital, the World War One ended, and he was like, "Oh God, I want to."
I was enjoying that.
Yeah, well, you know. So don't, because you're breaking the concentration.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm not even sure I want to join in on this one, just in case.
Okay.
Right, go on.
Right. So
He was in hospital. World
he's in
War One.
hospital. It gets a bit better. He's never that fit though. He's one of these blokes who was always ill. That was on something like 30 tablets a day or something. Comes out of there, joins some other army.
Right.
God, you know, I knew it all this morning.
I can see it running to ground. I just see his face going, I'm not nailing the fact, am I? And joined another army, and he was
Listen, let's try and help you. So,
Here's a good bit. I remember this bit. He thought that war to men, right, was like childbirth is to women. That's how important he thought it was.
All right.
Right? So it's like, you know, you fight for 9 months, and at the end of it, you own something, right?
Yeah.
So, he goes on and all that. He's in Berlin.
Yeah.
And he's fighting his way through, like, you know, trying to take over countries and that. And he does he do Berlin? Does he?
sorry, wait a minute. Is he Chancellor yet?
What year is it? 35?
Let's skip the kind of climb to power. Then he's now the dictator of Germany.
Right, he's in charge, yeah. And this is when, you know, he gets his own back on the Jewish people and that, and he's got his own little armies, and he's setting fire to Jewish businesses and all this. And anyway, cut a long story short, he
Please do.
when he came to like fighting Britain,
Yeah.
came a bit sort of unstuck,
Yeah.
right? Started fighting
Not
back.
so easy, is it, this world domination, Adolf?
Britain was there, France was helping out,
Yeah.
Americans were helping out.
Yeah.
So he thought,
Well,
oh God, so
bit
he goes,
late, but yeah, go on.
he goes into a bunker in Berlin,
Yeah.
and it's all kicking off,
Yeah.
and apparently, like, Germany sort of surrenders,
Yeah.
says it's all over, forget it, we can't beat you. He was really annoyed with this, and he thought, oh, I can't show my face around here. So
Because it would be embarrassing.
he's with his missus, who nobody knew was his wife,
Right.
Eva, in this bunker.
Yeah.
And so he said, I've had enough of this. He shoots himself.
Yeah.
She poisons herself, and the chauffeur buries them or something, or burns them.
Right.
And in all the time he was in charge, 50 million people died.
So that's 1918 to 1945.
Yeah.
Between
It felt like that.
between Travis and the Red Hot Chili Peppers. Next week. That's fantastic.
That's remarkable. I have to say that you sort of lost your grasp somewhere along the line, because you started off confidently, but you lost your
I've had a really busy week, and last night I was like whizzing through it.
Sure.
And then this morning, I woke up, and, you know, Suzanne had been away for about 3 days, right?
Yeah.
I hardly spoke to her. She's been busy, I've been busy. First thing to say when I wake up, oh, just ask me some stuff on Hitler.
Yeah, okay.
Which living person do you most admire? Which person throughout any time in history do you most admire?
Winston Churchill's pretty good.
You like
Yeah,
him?
it's very good.
He's
Why?
alright.
Good answer.
Because if it wasn't for him, we'd be talking German. I'm not that good at that. So,
He's not that good at that. I love that even if the Nazis had won, right, in 1945, and we'd be now speaking German, he still wouldn't be that good at it. Although he's not good at English, so I suppose that's true, isn't it? Yeah.
All right. Well, here's the final one for now. Do you believe in capital punishment?
That's not hitting Dr. Fox over the head with a stick.
depends what for, doesn't it?
Go on.
Oh, if it's something bad. And,
Well, I assume it would be. They don't kill
what-
people
what-
now for parking illegally.
But what sort of thing are you talking about? What sort of punishment?
Capital punishment.
Yeah, I know, but what is that? What are you talking about?
Well, guillotine, hanging.
Hanging's a bit bad.
Yeah. Can be fatal, can't it? What do you mean hanging's a bit bad?
It's just
It's all bad. Why should the state kill someone?
because prisons are getting a bit busy, aren't they?
Brilliant. Okay.
What's the point in keeping them, people around?
Well, what's the point in killing them?
Just because it's like, right, that's that done. Who's next? Do you know what I mean? What can you do with someone if they're mental?
Employ him on a radio show.
Yeah.
Play a
Right.
record,
Next
Carl.
question.
Play a record. We'll
Okay.
come back. They were thinking more.
More of what fears have you got? What worries do you ponder the expansion of the universe? Do you worry about
There's
your...
There's no point, is there? 'Cause there's nothing I can do about it.
So with you, it's the little Chinese fellow across the road.
Just stuff that I've got to sort out. Any bills or anything. I don't worry about the world ending or anything. What's the point in that?
That's true. That is
I
true.
can't do anything about it. I always think that people with more sort of intelligence have the world on their shoulders because they're worrying about stuff that's miles away. Whereas I'm like, I'm happy if the sun's out. It's like, oh, it's a nice day.
Yeah.
I don't worry about wars and stuff going on because there's nothing I can do.
What would you do if there was a war that maybe there was...
What, here?
Yeah.
Go on holiday.
Play a record, Carl. What do you make of St. George, the patron saint? What's your take on that?
Is he the one who killed a dragon?
Right. Tell us the story.
There was a dragon problem.
Where?
Must have been in England.
Right.
George took it on. He took on the job. He was like a rent-a-kill. He came out. The interesting thing with him is, right, he was a hero then. I honestly think if he did that now, there'd be an uproar. Because it's the last dragon. It's the same way we try to save the panda and all that now. If he came out and said, I've done it, and they've gone, done what? They've just killed the last dragon. They'd go mental. There'd be marches. Idiot, bloody idiot. And that's what's interesting.
But it was going around burning people.
Doesn't matter, we shouldn't have killed the last one. It's the last one. And that's
No,
what we'd
but
be
do-
like.
do-
So
do
you
you
should have
think-
saved it, you should have captured it and put it in a cage so we can all look at it
There's
and
no
stuff.
point. You couldn't have bred anyway. It was the last one.
Was it definitely the last one?
Well, you were saying it was the last one. I'm not bothered either way.
Hang on,
To
what?
me,
Sorry,
hang on, whoa.
So you think that there were dragons?
Well, what are we celebrating then?
Well, it could be a metaphor, a dragon slayer. It could be a bad thing amongst us. It could be a foreign threat. It could be things that threaten. It could be anything. It's not to be taken literally, is
But
it?
the real legend of George was that he was a figure who stood up for Christianity. Have
Doesn't
you ever
get-
done anything brave?
There was a kid at school who used to have epileptic fits a lot, and the teacher used to always say, if it happens, grab his tongue. And I sort of had a go
His
at
what?
that once. His tongue.
His tongue.
Yeah.
What do you have a tongue for? To pick stuff up? What do you mean a tongue?
His tongue in his mouth.
Oh, his tongue.
Oh, his tongue.
Yeah.
Right, go on.
And they used to say,
Use the English
if he starts doing it, grab his tongue and that. And I sort of had a go at that once, and it wasn't nice.
How'd you grab it? You grabbed his tongue, did you?
Well, I tried to. It's like grabbing a slug. And plus his mouth's going up and down. That you think he's going to have me hand here. So you sort of do that thing where you go.
So you were trying to grab hold of a kid's tongue, yeah? And he was.
He's throwing himself all over the place. It was in a physics lesson. I sort of had a go, and then I thought, this isn't happening. So I just sort of kept putting my hand in, like I'm having a go. But in my head, I was going, I'm not going to get hold of it.
What you could have used is a pair of tongs.
Well, firstly, I don't see why this is brave. Kids having an epileptic fit and you're just supposed to help them out. I don't know why that's bravery, but even given that, the fact that you were thinking more about yourself in that situation than this other kid. You were thinking, I'll make it look like I'm helping, but I'm not really. And yet this is kid having
Well,
an
I did
epileptic fit.
at the beginning.
Doesn't
I
that
tried.
sum you up, Carl? Selfish.
No, it doesn't. Because I didn't, no one else was having a go. At least I did try and grab it
You
at one
weren't doing
point.
anything. You were just making it look like you were.
Have you ever tried to grab a tongue? It's like chasing a chicken. It's murder. And after a while, it wears you out. And it was weird anyway, because it was like a bit...
What was he doing it for?
I don't know.
Wearing him out after hours of chasing this kid's tongue.
I love the idea. Have you ever tried grabbing a tongue? It's a valid question.
I love that he's annoyed. He's annoyed that this poor kid's having
what was your
an epileptic fit.
technique? Were you trying to grab it
Just with your thumb and your finger, like a pincher thing.
Yeah.
But it was because his mouth's going down and all that.
Was he shouting or just?
No, just throwing himself around.
So that's your one attempt at bravery.
Well, hang on a minute. Let me just think.
Trying to grab a tongue.
There was a time you were chased by a bee and you scored a goal.
I forgot about that.
That isn't really bravery, is it? As you were running away from a bee, and the ball happened to hit your foot and go in. Does that count as bravery? I love it when he goes up to the pearly gates and goes, "Well, have you done the act of courage?" I pretended to grab a tongue. A what? A tongue. Yeah. Got chased by a bee, scored a goal. It doesn't count as brave at all.
Well, what have you ever done?
Well, it's a good question.
Now, these are your clues. The first one, that army has got some nice trenches.
That army has got some nice trenches. Excellent.
And the initials there are DW.
Do you like some of the questions for 15 to 1?
Go on.
So that army has got some
similar
nice
phrasing.
trenches, okay.
Okay.
The second one,
What were the initials there, Carl, on that person?
DW.
DW.
Yeah. Right, the second one, the top of them curtains are all wrecked. All the materials all worn.
He acts it out though. We've got to get him on telly. We have got to get him on telly because his little face and his gestures.
That's the second one. The initials being HV. Okay, the top of those curtains are wrecked. All the materials all worn out. Right, HV. And the final one. Here's the final clue. I was in Texas the other week. Right, I tripped and landed on my knees in a puddle.
What's the initials?
Initials WH for that one. So I was in Texas, I tripped up, landed on my knees in a puddle. So that's WH.
Incredible.
You've got it.
Is it great?
It's fantastic.
It's always a bit, I don't know, it's sold in a bad light. It's a bit sort of, a bit gay, isn't it?
Right.
I mean, it depends what sort you're talking about, because maybe there's poetry out there that I haven't heard.
There's some poetry gayer than others.
Yeah.
War poetry can't be gay, can it? That was
I haven't
people.
heard. Go on.
People fighting in the trenches and they can't be gay. They weren't gay. They were writing to their sweetheart. I don't know his name. It might have been a bloke. I don't know. But
So was it a sort of a what sort of poem was it? Was it sort of a limerick, sort of a
no, it was. Well, there's famous ones, Wilfred Owen and Siegfried Sassoon, and they're very moving. They're about what usually happens is that they talk about why are we here. This is we've been sold a lie here, and they really started seeing war in a different light from their point of view in the trenches. Famously, some of them died soon after the.
But I
they'd
prefer
written the poem.
a proper letter. No sort of crypticness. That's the problem with
Right.
poems.
Okay,
You
so
read
you'd
it and-
have been disappointed to get Dolce et Decorum est through the post, would you? You'd have just said, "What are you trying to say, mate? What's the weather like? When you're coming home? Did you get my socks?"
Well, yeah, sometimes life is a bit like that, and it's like, say what you mean.
Right. Well, then you have just wiped all art off the face of the earth if you literally just say what you mean.
No, I'm just saying in a letter. Say if I was a woman and my fella was fighting in a war.
Right. What's your fella's name?
Harry.
Okay, so Harry. Oh, let me get this right. So when were you married?
About 1935.
1935. So you've been married about 4 years.
Yeah.
Harry, why don't you go off? Oh, you're a woman, aren't you? You don't. Okay. So what did you see in Harry? Why did you like Harry? Was he
He just was like funny.
butch?
He wasn't that butch, but that
No.
didn't matter back then, did it? In the war,
No. And
he took everyone.
But what did you say when Harry had said to you?
Well, I thought it was coming because a lot of our friends
Right.
ended up having
Did
to
you just
go
hug
there.
him and say don't go or something?
No point, because that would have just made it tough for him. So I just, what's the point? Just go with it.
But if he
I
had
cried
written,
after he went.
you cried after he went.
That's what you do, innit? You wouldn't do it in front of him. He's got to go to battle.
Okay, so your man goes off to battle.
Right. Then I get a letter from the Colonel
Right.
saying, "Oh, bit of bad news. Harry's dead." Now I get a letter in the post.
He said what he meant, didn't he? In the
Well, yeah, and they would do, wouldn't they? They wouldn't
Yeah.
fanny around saying, "Oh, he was on the warpath and the cloud went dark." I go, "What? Just tell me what happened. I don't want a weather forecast."
he got shot up the arse and the bullet came out his head.
Right. Now, the Colonel, he would just tell me the basics. Now, because he sent his by
Telegram.
telegram, they sent a telegram.
Hmm.
The letter I get from Harry has been stamped, so I get it late.
Oh, okay.
So I get a letter from Harry after he's died.
Yeah.
Right, and you know he's dead.
I know he's dead, so I get
Right.
this letter with his handwriting on. I'm devastated because I was just getting over his death.
Yeah.
It's all brought back to me when this letter drops through the post.
Well, yeah. 3
Right.
days and you're pretty much over it.
It's Harry's handwriting.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's this?
What's
Now
he
I
written?
open it,
Yeah.
and instead of saying things are bad here, socks are damp, everything's grim, it's cold, I'm sick of it. There's a poem. It wouldn't feel like it was from Harry.
Well,
Because it's not in his words. Poems are never in the person's words.
But didn't you know Harry was a poet when you married him and made love to him
No,
that
I only
night?
picked it up because other people were doing it. It's something to do in the trenches.
But when he carried you over the threshold, Carl, and he laid you down and gently kissed you, didn't he say any? Didn't he ever show you?
He must have whispered some sweet nothings into
No, it
your
wasn't
spherical
like
red
that. It
head.
wasn't
No,
like that. Straight
no.
to the point. It was like, get your knickers off.
Carl, could we have some monkey news?
Well, just before we do monkey news, right, can I do a little psychological test on you?
On me?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's brilliant this. Someone emailed it in.
Brilliant.
Right, little story with a question at the end.
Okay.
Right? Right.
This is going to be so annoying.
No, it's not, honestly.
Well, it is because you're going to think it's science and it's going to be trite.
Alright, well,
Go on.
right, little story first, right? There's this funeral, right? And this girl was at a funeral.
Same funeral,
Yeah.
right?
It was a mother's funeral.
Oh, yeah.
Right? She met this fella who she didn't know, right? But she thought this fellow who she met was amazing. She didn't know him, right? But she thought he was brilliant, right? Like a dream fella.
Right.
And she fell in love with him, right? But never asked for his number, his phone number, right? And she couldn't find him. Now, a few days later, the girl killed her own sister, right?
Yes.
Question is, why did she do that?
Okay, well, it's one of those stupid things, then, isn't it? So it's not logic. It's it's what am I thinking?
No, it's not. Seriously, it's a proper, it's a proper
real
mental
logic.
test. It's a proper mental test.
A mental test. It is a bit mental.
So you understand the story, yeah?
Kind of. Let me just get it right. So there's a funeral. A girl goes to the funeral of her mother. Yeah. She meets the guy, or she
meets the guy at the funeral.
She meets the bloke.
He looks alright. I fancy a bit of that.
Right.
Has a chat with him.
Yeah.
But doesn't get his name, doesn't get a phone number or anything.
So to cut a long story short, the things are asked, right? So the reason she kills her own sister, is this something to do with finding out something about the man she met?
Well, just answer the thing. Just why do
okay then. I'll answer it then. She went mental. He was a spy called Derek. What do you mean? Just answer it.
Anyway, I'm testing Steve.
Right. Well, she killed her own sister because her sister had stolen some money from her and was sleeping with her husband.
Is that it?
Well, I don't know. Carl.
It's an answer. It's an answer. What's the answer on the paper? So,
come on,
come on!
Well, the answer is...
No, an answer is...
that she was hoping that the guy would appear at the funeral again. He'd go to the funeral.
Right, that's not a proper psychological test.
It is,
it's one of those stupid little shitty things. It's like a man goes into a field and dies. Why? His parachute didn't open, that's what I'm thinking.
I'm surprised you learn anything. Honest to God.
I love that. Romeo and
anything.
Juliet. Oh, Juliet's a fish.
It said... she was hoping that the guy would appear again at the funeral. If you answered this correctly, you think like a psychopath. This was a test by a famous fella, right, who used it on killers, and most of the killers got the answer right.
Did you also think that? Was that the answer you gave when you first read it?
No, I didn't know. But I wondered what you would have got.
Good, so that's proof I'm not a psychopath.
Yeah, but that's the point, but it's a psychological test for looking at something very, very specific.
What's up with that?
Well, what was the best that could happen? That he'd got it right, so he is a psychopath.
What annoys me is you're not happy with that test, but before you wasted 3 minutes trying to balance a pear on my head. What were you getting out of that?
Let's play a song and have some money.
Joe Jackson, is she really going out with him on XFM? Right, it's the time that most people, I imagine, have been waiting for. Monkey news.
Play the jingle.
Okay. Oh, chimpanzee that monkey news.
Right.
Come on. Come on.
Should be ready, Carl.
That's amazing, isn't it? It's like Nicholas Witchell. The bomb. No, that's not the first. Come on!
No, it's always difficult, isn't it, to sort of find something that's good each week, right? Last week, we did the chimp.
It is for us, yeah.
We had the chimps who were running a health spa.
Yeah.
Right. We've covered the one who nicked a car to go on to Spain.
Yep.
To sort his future out.
All shite.
The hairdresser, I think we've done that one, the little monkey hairdresser. This week, we're looking at monkeys, that they're using... do you know, like, monkeys, they know how, like...
I've lost the will to live, Steve.
Oh, well, I don't want to do it.
Well, come on, come on!
What are monkeys good at?
What are monkeys good at?
Yeah.
Well, running small businesses, cutting people's hair, and driving cars.
Yeah, they love Spain.
Oh, and foiling bank robberies.
Yeah, they're great.
Well, something else they're good at, right, is, like, weighing up the situation.
Oh, God!
If you stick them in a field with loads of, like, obstacles on it, right, they're good at sort of, I can get over that, and I can climb over that, I'll swing from there to there, that sort of thing, right?
Okay.
So the people in charge of somewhere, I've thought...
somewhere!
Come on.
I've thought we can use that skill, right? And what they've done is they've got a load of little monkeys, right? They've given them an IQ test.
Yeah.
And the ones that score above 80, right?
Get to produce this show next week.
Join the army.
Right, how do they join the army and what do they do?
They just, what they do is they set little obstacle courses up for them, they do that, they do a cross-country run, they do, the IQ
cross-country
test.
run?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, once they've done all that, they make them a little uniform, made-to-measure little uniform.
Slightly longer arms, shorter legs than usual, yeah.
Yeah. And, basically, then they taught how to use a gun and that sort of thing.
Yeah, of course they are. You're talking rubbish again.
This came through literally pretty late on. So
you've not had a chance to corroborate all the facts as usual.
just have a look.
Right. It's the bit I'm looking for is, well, A, why are they doing it? Why are they doing it?
Yeah.
Why do we need monkeys in the army? And secondly, why are we giving them guns? I'll just check to see if any of that.
I love
information
the
is
fact we
empty.
only let gays in recently.
Yeah. Talk amongst yourselves.
Yeah.
Just have a look.
I can't read it. There's too much pressure.
But it's rubbish.
Just have a.
But it's rubbish. They don't get. It's the way that there are things. There are animal cores, right? There are horses. There are dolphins, sea lions. There are lots and lots of animals in the army, but they don't have to pass an obstacle test as such, and they're not taught to fire guns. You've straight away assumed that there's going to be loads of squads of men, and then just one little monkey in the middle. Like, he came second on the test. He's in, boys.
What do you think, Steve? You've read it?
Well, as ever, Carl, this is an arbitrary email sent by one of our listeners. You know what Ricky and I think of them. and so we're not really basing this on hard evidence. We're basing it on the ramblings of one of our listeners.
Rubbish. Once again, lazy, rubbish, uncorroborated, nonsense, the stupid test that you got wrong.
Rick, that sounds like monkey news to me. Well, we were talking about the news just now, and there was a story I heard in the week. I think it was on the radio, and I don't know all the details. But what I heard was that a number of, I think it was Falkland, maybe Gulf War veterans, were, I think, suing or complaining to the government because they wanted compensation for post-traumatic stress disorder. Now, I don't know all the ins and outs of it, but it seems to me that if you're in the army and you're a soldier, a certain degree of trauma is kind of inevitable. I mean, after all, if you're any good at your job, you are going to see people getting killed. So I don't understand what the ins and outs of it are. I don't know why.
No, when he came back and Tony Blair met him and go, all right, well, not really, no. Go on, what's the matter? Well, if there was people shooting at us and everything, it was all muddy. Well, calm down, don't cry. Well, I will.
There was a drill sergeant just kept shouting, saying, "Look at you, stupid boy! Where's this
he's
gun's
got a
not
train,
clean?" And I
hasn't
just
he?
cleaned the gun, and it was fine. And now he's telling me to clean it again.
Yeah, and the boots, they were shiny.
fine, he was
Well, he's
showing.
got to do that. It's more
His
distant.
neck was as big as his head.
Well, yeah, but you don't know what they,
I don't know what the ins and outs of it are, but
what you got to do is make sure you know what you're going into. That's what I do. You got to check the small print. So if I was, going over to the Falklands or the Gulf, I'd put my hand up and go, will it be horrible? I go, you at the back, yes. Will it be horrible? It will be horrible. Yes, it will be horrible. There will be shooting and lots of death and everything. I go, right. I'm not going to go. And they go,
Exactly.
okay then. Okay.
that should be fine. Yeah.
Should be fine. Yeah, just like that. Is anyone else scared about this? Pretty much all of us. Okay, then we won't send anyone then.
Exactly.
My brother went into the army, right? Because he couldn't get a normal job, and my dad said, if you don't get a job by such a date, that's it, son. You're going in the army. And, so when was the Falklands? Was it about
81.
Right? And he joined back in like 81 or something. And he I don't know, he was in Aldershot or something.
Oh yeah.
And he wrote back to my mum saying, a bad time to join, bad time in this. So she wrote.
Well, bad time to join. That's so sweet, Carl, isn't it? That's like, dear Dad. Yeah, well done.
Don't know if you've noticed.
Yeah. I was on the dole, that's for sure. Thank you for joining. A month before the Belgrano.
Anyway,
go on.
My mum called up, spoke to the sergeant, and said, "Can you leave him out of this one?
Can you leave him out of this one? What, the Falkland War?
He's only just joined," and she called him Chuck, which he got done for. Like, she's one of them, I think it's a northern thing, like saying, "How are you, Chuck?"
Yeah.
And she called the sergeant Chuck, and the sergeant said to my brother, "Your mum, she's called up and asked if you can not go," which, of course, we'll see how it goes. But can you
What?
tell
What
her?
do you mean? Why did the sergeant even entertain this?
Well,
Pilkington, come here. Your mum's been giving me a bit of earache. Now listen, tell her I've told you, but can you call her, because she called me Chuck and everything. Can you call her and say you don't mind? Well, not really. Oh, please, because I've promised her say you want to go. No, please, say you want to go. Why was he entertaining this phone call?
probably because he was new.
What?
Because he was new to the army, I suppose.
Who? No, I mean the
your brother.
sergeant.
I don't know. Maybe they do that.
So what happened? He didn't go in the end?
So he didn't go. No.
You can't do it.
But that's ludicrous.
I love it that we went over the top. Pilkington,
No,
I've got a note. Yeah. Is this really your mum? Yeah. Okay. No, this seems to be in order.
Because I notice it says, I do not want to go into the army. I don't want to go and fight, and it's crossed out and it says, Mum says don't
Yeah.
go. Now, you didn't write this yourself.
No,
did you,
my mum
Pilkington?
wrote this. Okay.
You definitely wrote this yourself.
Your excuse. You're going to have to fill envelopes.
No, I'm sure if he was needed, he would have had to go, but I think they made a bit of a special effort. They sort of said, oh.
Well, it wasn't conscription anyway. Oh no,
But were the other soldiers going around just going,
Pilkington?
No, he ended up being a mechanic in there, and he got kicked out for going for a packet of fags in a tank.
what?
Now, wait a minute. Do you mean he nipped down the shops in a tank?
Yeah.
I don't believe that, Carl. You've
Honest
made
to
that.
God. That, and he went off with the sergeant's wife. So that didn't help, and he ended up getting kicked out.
Sorry, your brother's a genius.
I love this. First of all, he gets a call from his mum, go and let him up, and he goes, oh God. Then he goes, where's Pilkington? His mum's on the phone. Where is he? He's near your house, Sergeant. Near my house? Well, why is... No reason. Well, when he comes back, when he's finished, tell him his mum called. And can he get me a packet of fags? Tell him to walk this time.
Wow.
This is ludicrous.
So the sergeant found out that he was sleeping with his wife?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Did your mum phone out and say, let him off? No,
Let him off
court-martial
this
him.
time. Can he... Yeah. That's fantastic.
But he misses it. I mean, I haven't seen him for about 11 years. But ever since he came out, he's just kept getting into trouble and that. And the army, you know, people slag it off, but I think if you're a certain type of person, it's good for
It
you.
didn't straighten him out, did it?
No.
He was going down the shops in a tank, he was shagging someone
No,
behind
but
their back.
it's
Yeah.
really weird. It's like back then, he was like a proper adult, and he had a house, and he collected crystal with his wife and that. And now, he hasn't got any of that.
Has he got the wife?
No,
Has he got the crystal?
don't think he has.
And he hasn't got the
I
house.
seriously haven't seen him for about 11 or 12 years.
Oh,
So I haven't even spoken
It
to
always
him.
Carl's stories always start off nice and funny, and then they just leave me empty and slightly depressed. I don't know whether to hug him or shoot him, put him out of his misery. Can we take Carl to the... phone in if you think I should take Carl to the vet and have him put down, because it's just too stressful. If Tony Blair came to you and he went, Carl, listen, I'm having a bit of trouble here. I don't know what to do. I've tried everything. I've tried spin. I've tried being tough. I've tried backing down. I've tried getting other countries involved. They don't want to know. What do I do? What do I do? You don't know?
Tricky one.
It's a tricky one, it's a tricky one, yeah.
I don't worry about it. If it's going to happen, it's going to happen, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just get in the bath, put a mattress on top of you. That's it.
Sorry, why are you doing that?
Ooh, slow down.
Why are you doing that?
That's what they say you do, isn't it? If it kicks off.
If what kicks off?
If there's a war and that, you get in the bath, put a mattress on top.
Right. Did they do that in the Second World War for 6 years?
Was that making bunk
That's
beds?
just what I read somewhere.
Yeah.
Is the bath full of water?
No. That'd be daft.
Okay.
But
Yeah,
I
of course
think they were enamel baths then, though. I think they'd stop a bit of shrapnel. I think the plastic ones you get nowadays would probably melt on you. And the mattress, where your dad has cut it in half, all the foam would come out and the springs would get you in the eye. It's come to our attention that the Allied forces, all around the world, in active service, fighting for their country, even though they're in danger and they're missing their loved ones, they all have one thing in common. The love of one man, the respect of one fellow soldier. He's a civilian, but he's one of them. He is, to some, just a little bald-headed fool. Karl Pilkington. Karl, what do you think? What do you think of this? It's an honour, isn't it, to do this?
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Okay, there's people out there, Carl, they're fighting in Afghanistan, Iraq, all over the globe.
They're in a dark building. They're not breaking radio silence.
Morale, often low. There's one man they can turn to cheer them up.
Come on, they want some words of encouragement, some words of wisdom. Something to keep them going. A message to the troops. Come on.
Go, Carl. What is it?
You're like their Winston Churchill.
I don't know what to say to him, really.
Do you know any soldiers?
Well, yeah, my brother was one, wasn't
Yeah, but he got kicked out.
Why did your brother get kicked out of the army?
he? Well, there's a few things. I think you get a few chances. I think the final straw was nipping out for some fags in a tank.
Just think of that. Just think of that. Amazing.
And it's,
Just see that, just a little corner shop, but just like things shaking, jumping off the shelves, and they're going, what is this? What is going on? 20 Rothmans, please.
Yeah, there was loads of things. It was that. What else did he do? I think the sergeant wasn't happy that my mum wrote the sergeant a letter trying to get my brother out of going to Northern Ireland.
What did she say? I love this.
What did she say?
Wow.
She wrote a letter. Like, trying to get him out of PE.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
It was all
Let's
like...
not
He's had a
forget-
chesty cough.
Let's not forget, your mum is a person who put Tipp-Ex on a spider so your dad couldn't kill it, so she knew it was the right
so it didn't
spider.
get backed
In
up.
case your dad killed a real spider, then thought I better replace it. I mean, the
No, it wasn't just that. It was Tipp-Ex, so that when my dad was vacking up, or my mum was vacking up, it stood out. It wasn't like branding a sheep.
Right.
It was there, so it stood out, because they used to have, like, what's the name? Laminate flooring.
Right.
And my dad changed it to darker carpet, so
Right.
all of a sudden you couldn't see it anymore.
I've never heard anything like this.
I don't remember this story.
no,
She
no.
had a pet spider? What do you mean? It was
Yeah,
just a
yeah,
spider.
Yeah, she kept a spider. They had a spider, but then it became a pet because it was there all the time, as opposed to just getting rid of it straight away. Like, you know, because you didn't clear it away
it's
straight
a
away,
house-
suddenly it's a pet. It's
Yeah, it's a house spider, because they live in houses. You make them welcome to get rid of other little bugs and termites and stuff. My brother's left home, I've left home, my sister's gone. It's something for my mum, innit? She's got a budgie. There's only so much you can do with that. It's not as free, is it, as a spider?
right.
So she just looks after that one. They lived for about 8 years.
I'm bored of a budgie.
Get yourself a spider.
Anyway,
They live in holes.
that's a different thing altogether. She just wrote to the sergeant and said, just sort of, you know, look, I didn't want him to join the army. It was his dad. He didn't get a job. His dad told him, if you don't get a job, you're going to join the army. He ended up joining. He's joined at a bad time. He hasn't had enough practice at this yet. Can you just let him
Surely
off?
that's for
Isn't that
them.
enough practice?
Surely that's for them to decide. Yeah, she's on there going,
He can't shoot for Tommy.
He was all right about it. The only thing that really annoyed him is my mum started off the letter by saying, hello, Chuck.
Not appropriate.
And he called back, though. He did call her and said, look, you know, I don't appreciate it being called Chuck and stuff, but I got your note. You know, a lot of mothers are in the same boat.
sorry, he actually mentioned don't call me Chuck.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he brought it up. Because it's all about respect, isn't it? And,
Well, she's a civilian.
yeah, but I suppose it's respect still. He's putting his life on the line. Someone's saying, you know, all right, Chuck.
So he phoned back and he said, presumably, well, I mean, if I was him, I would have, not only would I have sent him to Northern Ireland instantly,
Yeah.
I'd have put him in the most dangerous spot.
Yeah.
I mean, as punishment. To get your mum to write a letter?
No. He didn't ask my mum to do it. She did it off her own back.
He was probably horrified, wasn't he?
Oh, wow.
But imagine that. The sergeant major go, attention, got a little letter here. Let me read it to you. Hello, Chuck. Just reads it out. And he goes, Pilkington, come here, you horrible little man. Imagine him reading out in front of the troops.
I remember sort of looking up to him thinking, oh, he's in the army, I want to do that. He used to come home quite a lot, but he used to do my dad's head in because he'd turn up with like a wagon with like a load of his mates in it, just turning up on sort of, you know, we didn't have any notice. Just turn up and he'd bring them all in. Come on, he'd be drinking my dad's whiskey, it'd kick off, my dad saying, get out.
Mind the spider?
And
Don't tread on the spider.
yeah, he used to just turn up with like half of F Troop and they'd just take over the house. And my dad used to be on night, so he'd hear all this going on, come down and go, what's going on, get out. He's going, oh, we've come out, get out. So it'd sort of kick off a bit. I'd see him for a few minutes and then he'd drive off again on the truck.
Not a model soldier, then.
Well, what's a model soldier? I don't know. I mean, I always thought it was good when I was younger and, you know, he joined. I was like, oh, I'm going to do that when I get older. And my dad always said, you won't be able to cut it. He said, you can't do it.
Oh.
And I said, no, I can. Look how good. Because I used to make my bed really neat.
Right. So it was mainly housework you were good at.
Yeah. You're probably better off as a mum.
No. It was like, because it has to be immaculate, doesn't it? They look for no creases and that. And I was
Yeah.
a bit paranoid with my bed. Just with the duvet and that. I used to.
Duvet. Do they have duvets?
Well, I don't know, but just making the bed pride in appearance of
Yeah.
of the bedroom.
Yeah, it's all about discipline.
Once,
it's all about,
once
yeah.
I made it, no one could sit on it. I used to get all stressed out and feel sick if someone came in and sat on my bed after I'd made it. So don't be coming in. And it was annoying because that's where the CB was. So everyone used to come in, so I would go on the CB and sit on my bed. They'd be going, don't sit on my bed. Made it.
Right.
Why
So-
do you used to feel sick?
It was a bit of a thing. I just didn't
OCD,
like it.
a little bit of-
It's
yeah.
like I've gone to the trouble of making it. Why have you just come in and sat on it? I wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, but hold on though. You do that in the army. Sergeant Major comes in and goes, Pilkington. And he does it for a laugh. He turns over your bed, he pulls out your locker, he gobs on your shoes, right? He goes, start again, you cunt. What are you going to do? Going to be sick? No, you're going to go,
Yes, Sergeant Major, I'm going to start again.
No, I'd say, why did you do that? I'm missing home as it is. I'm stressed out. I'm just trying to make me surroundings as nice as possible.
Teddy's on the floor.
You keep coming in and messing with it. Can you not do that?
who are you talking to, you little bald cunt?
Maybe my dad's right then, because he said that my dad sort of said the bed making's all right. He said, but you're not that good with laces.
Wow, did you have to tie your laces?
Well, I just never been that good. I can tie them, but they never sort of stay tied for a long time.
I have never seen him tie his laces. I've realised that.
No.
He always comes in.
Are
Does
they
Suzanne do them for
Is
you?
he a
then?
little mank, one of those little mank trainers where they're all tucked in, where you don't see the laces?
I tend to just get a good knot on them and then just leave them and kick them off, and then they're tied permanent.
So you've got slip-on laced-up shoes, basically.
Yeah, I don't like
But they
laces.
can't be
I don't
tight
understand
enough.
why laces are good anyway when you're in the army, especially with boots. You have boots with like about 60 holes in them. If you're in a rush, if you're in bed, you get out of the bed, you make the bed, the sergeant comes in, rips it apart again, he's going, there's a war, and you're going, stop messing with the bed. And then I'm there trying to put my boots on, you got 60 laces. I don't understand why Velcro hasn't been used. Velcro is ideal for a war situation. You're in bed, woo, siren goes off, you jump out. Why do you want boots with loads of laces?
Well, that's a thought for the...
If there's any top brass listening. How would you cope, Carl, in a war situation? Ignore the mechanics of being a soldier. I'm talking about the fear. I mean, these men and women are brave beyond compare. Constantly under duress.
I was told he had good pain threshold.
By whom?
A woman at that face rub place I went to.
Right.
She, because they ask you when you go in. She said, what's your pain threshold like? I said, I don't know. I'll avoid it. She was going, yeah, but, you know, would you say you're very, very good, medium, or bad?
I can't imagine you getting hurt much because the signals to the brain, you've got, you know, it's dulled, isn't it, with you? So you don't really...
Yeah, but then Suzanne always moans at me when I'm going, oh, God, my wisdom teeth is aching. She's going, oh, shut up.
She's saying, you haven't got any wisdom teeth, you dopey cunt.
No, she just always goes, I had it, and I didn't make a fuss, but it's one of them things that you can't get through to people pain, isn't it?
Yeah.
And they don't know what your pain threshold is. So, like I say, I've got brilliant pain threshold. I'm saying my tooth's hurting. She's saying, oh, shut up. But she doesn't know. I think I've talked about it before about giving someone the pain that you've got. So you go, there, have a feel of that. I'm in
Yeah.
agony here.
Yeah, but you've made it up that you've got a high pain threshold. This isn't... This is not
not scientifically
the woman
proven.
told me. The woman told me.
Well, does
How
she
does she
know?
know?
Because I haven't got to it yet. When I had the face rub,
Yeah.
she was sticking electric into my head. And she was going,
What sort of place is this? This wasn't a spa.
no, it was. It's what we do
Jesus
now.
Christ.
What, she, I don't know, so she just plugged something into the mains.
She plugged something in and rolled
Did
it
she
over.
have an assistant called Igor? Was it in a castle in
She
Bavaria?
plugged this thing in, rolled it over my head, and said, is that hurting? I was going, no. And she went, oh, right. And she said, and then by the end of it, she said, look at that, I had that on full. I said, what is it? She said, it's an electric current. That does something. I was going, really?
That does something. She's a scientist.
And, yeah.
Maniac.
She said, no, when you fill out that form, just put you really good at pain threshold.
But you're really good at... You're going to come again? Well, yeah, 50 quid. So, let's try it on your testicles next time.
So, you know...
Sorry, how was this? What was this supposed to be achieving?
It was
why
like a face
why
rub.
you've gone in for a facial and she's testing out what your pain
Well, that's
threshold
what I
is?
said. I said, hang on a minute, what do you mean? It's meant to be relaxing, this.
Yeah.
You normally have whale noises happening,
Yeah.
and now it's going to be me screaming. She said, no, it's just, you know, we have to ask, we have to make sure, because there is a bit of pain.
Well,
you know,
yeah.
heat. There's heat into these hot cloths. Bit of a rub.
Better the thumb screws. Let's get the thumb screws out now.
And plus all that kidney stone pain that
Yeah,
I
but
had.
you just were in agony when you had the kidney stones. I don't remember you having this triumphant pain threshold. You gave up instantly.
Whinged and
Yeah,
whinged.
because you have to get seen. If I go in there and I'm going, I'm in agony, and they're going, you don't look like you're in agony. I went, I'd be at the back of the queue. So you have to go in and go, oh, yeah. And they're going, quick, get him in. So pain threshold is good for yourself, but it's not good for other people.
So you were bullshitting. You didn't feel pain at all.
I was in agony, but I can hold it off. I can sit there and be quiet and have a sweat on. But if you do that in a hospital waiting room, it'll be the little div who's coming with a pan on his head, who's screaming and saying his head's throbbing. That's what I'm saying. So to get seen, you have to put it on. It's like a baby crying. There's nothing wrong with it. What's he crying for? He's probably hungry. Well, I'm hungry. I'm not crying. But that's what they use, isn't it, to get attention.
So you're braver than a baby, is what you're saying. You're braver than a baby. That's all we've established here.
In some cases, not in
When
others.
you fill out the form,
Not in others. Sometimes babies are braver. When are babies braver?
You can chuck them in a pool when they don't panic. I'm rubbish.
Sorry, will you leave my baby alone? No, I'm doing an experiment. Mr. Pilkington, will you stop throwing children in the pool?
No, babies.
You're barred from this swimming pool from now on.
I mean babies. It's the same way you can chuck one out of a window and it can land and it won't break its back. 'cause it's
No, that's not
Okay,
true.
do not do that.
Do not.
If
That
you
is
are a
not
maniac
true. You
listening
cannot
to
throw
this-
a baby out of a window.
It's just what I
Who
heard.
did you hear that? You're thinking of a cat. And don't throw cats out. Don't throw any living thing out of a...
It's just what I
Who
heard.
did you hear?
You can't throw a baby out of the window and it won't break its back. What are you talking
No,
about?
it's just there's a certain height. It's all about us tensing up. We tense up, don't we? It's like how once someone who fell out of a plane, they passed out, and because they passed out when they landed, they were relaxed. They
No.
woke up, they were like, "Oh yeah, what happened then?"
Someone fell out of a plane. That's bollocks.
It's not, honestly.
How far was the plane?
Oh, high up. It's a plane, isn't it?
Well, what's the lowest height that a plane could be at?
Even if it was at 30 feet, that's a height, isn't it, to fall without...
Yeah, well, exactly. But if it was higher...
Was the plane just on the runway?
No, it was iron up. It was high up enough.
Is this where you went for the holiday? We're going to High Up Enough. Fuck me. Can't even talk.